everyone. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Happy Ladies Night. I'm CJ. I'm over at Brenda's house. Brenda is one of our experienced bottle baby fosters, and so she's got 4 of our most recent bottle babies. She's got Cedar, Fig, Maple, and Spruce, and I think it's the other CJ and Karen who are filling in. Is that
just CJ right now?
Just Brenda and CJ, who sort of take turns being fosters and surrogate moms for these little ones. It was a litter of 11 who mom stopped nursing. Don't really know why, but she did, as I understand it. From the looks of them, they're in between 2.5 and 3.5 weeks old, something like that. Brenda and I just got done feeding them, and I didn't do it live because I'm completely inept. I've had 3 human children of my own, but I have no idea how to feed bottle puppies. And I got a second or a third lesson tonight from Brenda. It was really good, but someday maybe I'll feel confident enough in my skills and we'll go live with it. But and this one is Cedar,
Maple,
female Maple. There's a little Maple. Oh, they're so sweet.
She's got the cutest little face.
Brenda fed Maple tonight. There's our little Maple.
Look how
Oh
cute
my
she
goodness, you're such a little sweetie. You're such a little sweetie. Oh my goodness. Now, do it one more time so they can smell your puppy breath. One more time so they can smell your puppy breath. Okay, I'm going to smell your puppy breath. Oh, it stinks. It really, really stinks. I don't know why that smells good. It's just you. It's just you. Sorry, sweetie, because we cleaned you. You smell good. Yeah. Oh, they're so sweet. So I'm going to start reading tonight, chapter 11, The Rescue Writer from Rescue Matters. But we've got these little guys, and I just want to say the statistics are, Brenda, who are you going to grab? You grab one. The statistics are, conservatively, and I've said this many times before, 1.5 million animals get euthanized in American shelters every single year because they don't get adopted. Most of them are labeled pit mix or pit X, unfortunately. But why breed? Why buy when these little guys are looking for a home? And so I know there's controversy about what I just said. Don't breed or buy while shelter animals die. But that is our stance, and that is my stance, is that it's irresponsible when 1.5 are still being euthanized every single year in the United States. So that is one of my personal missions, and one of the missions of Turtle Mountain Animal Rescue is to get the ones that are already here, loving homes and adopted, instead of bringing more of their brothers and sisters into the world. So that sort of brings me into chapter 11. So I started with Turtle Mountain Animal Rescue about 5 years ago, when it was just really in its infancy. And we were, what I felt like was just dying a couple years in. I didn't know how we were going to continue financially. Keith was on the brink of burnout every single day. All of us were. There just wasn't the machine, the well-oiled machine that there is today. Thankfully, everyone stepped up to the plate, and we have that now. But when I wrote Rescue Matters, it was just a very different time. And so if you're interested in reading about or learning about how Turtle Mountain started, how it all began, why I'm sitting here talking to you tonight, how Keith turned from a full-time deputy into animal rescue or extraordinaire, and why he has rescued more than 5,000 animals out of his garage and turned his entire life into a rescue. I made it my mission to document the cause and everything that happened. And so that's what I'm going to be reading to you about tonight. But I know you're not going to be looking at me, and I don't want you to look at me anyway. I know you're going to be looking at these little guys. They're so thick and sweet. Which one is this, Brenda?
This one is Cedar.
Okay, so we got Cedar.
Cedar's the little boy.
Yep. And this one is Maple. Cedar and Maple. Maple's got the white face, little female. And Cedar is male.
Yep.
Right? Did we get that right?
Yep, Cedar's very sleepy.
Sorry.
Very sleepy male.
They're so sweet. Okay, well, I'm just gonna hold one. I'm gonna go here. I've got this, but I am going to just set it down tonight and read. So, chapter 11, the rescue writer. And last week was how Brenda sort of introduced me to the world of animal rescue. And chapter 11, so many people have asked, how did you get involved? How did you start with Turtle Mountain Animal Rescue? How did you and Keith meet? Of course, we're not a couple, so that's just a friendly question. Chapter 11 explains that. So chapter 11, the rescue writer. I wanted to find out more about the man behind the mission. So I stalked him on social media to see what the scoop was on this animal rescuing deputy. He seemed like the real deal. The pictures and videos of the dogs he took into his home were heartbreaking. He was picking up and caring for the animals no one else wanted, and he established an actual nonprofit rescue organization. Word was, the deputy was also planning to build a shelter. Keith Benning dared to solve a complex and immense problem in a difficult area. He was a visionary, and he still is a visionary. That vision has changed, but it has stayed the same. It has evolved and grown, and he really is the heart of the rescue. His mission ignited a spark in me and so many others. Some dormant energy with an unlimited supply of motivation woke me up. I had to help this underdog, this crazy dude who seemed to believe that he actually might make a dent or even fix this mammoth problem. I reached out to Keith on Facebook. I want to help. How best can I help you? And as we talked, I got a sense of the scope and magnitude of what he was dealing with on a daily basis. The deep-rooted causes and possible solutions. We discussed how factors like poverty and addiction contribute to the problems in the area, human and animal alike. There isn't a city left in the United States. Hold on, I gotta turn the page, but I know it says United States here. Oh, thanks, Brenda. There isn't a city in the United States that hasn't been affected by the opioid epidemic, and here was no exception. There were socioeconomic considerations, complicated tribal matters, and cultural clashes. I'm just gonna check in with you. You good? I don't want to be distracted from you. You're such a sweetheart. Are you? Are you chewing on your? Are you chewing on your foot? Are you chewing on your foot? You're such a good girl. There you go. Maybe I can hold you like this a little bit. Yes, you're so sweet. And cheers, ladies. I know it's Drink Wine Rescue Dogs night. For those of you out there having a little sip of whatever you got, cheers. A clear disconnect between the city, county, state, tribal, and federal laws also did not help the problem. In regards to animal rights in particular, the laws change depending on where you're standing and who interprets them. It's a convoluted and contradictory mess. Through dozens of conversations, I began to understand the Pandora's box he'd opened. A permanent solution would have to be all-encompassing. It would require a functioning shelter equipped with volunteer staff and donation-based funding. There would need to be a massive, coordinated effort to spay and neuter not only the strays, but all of the existing household pets as well. For that to happen, free or low-cost vet services would have to materialize from somewhere and be available indefinitely. Keith had far-reaching aspirations, such as incorporating a community outreach division and adding an attached youth center. The shelter would be a place that had few jobs to offer, hosted animal-centered workshops, coordinated free spay and neuter clinics, and maybe even somewhere kids that needed could get a warm meal. You're so sweet. You're so sweet. Yes, you are. I know you're so sweet. Keith knew from the very beginning that a solution for the animals would not just be about the animals. I know you're so sweet. So I'm going to stop there for a sec because I'm just going to do this. Because who wouldn't just do this if you could do this right now? You're such a sweetheart. You remember when people would say like, oh, gross, you let him lick your face? I'd let him lick my face. I'm fine. Isn't there like wormer for humans if you need it?
Right.
I'm sure that there is. Yes, of course there is. Yeah, we're good. So in the chapters that I just read, it's so interesting. You know, as an author, you don't really go back and read your books unless you have a reason to. Maybe pieces of it, but not in full. And I've had the opportunity for you guys, or to you guys, to read it chapter by chapter. So it's interesting to look back and see some of the mistakes that I've made, some of the things that I would change, some of the things that I would take out or include. And this chapter in particular, you know, talking about this shelter in the sky, this crazy vision, this all-encompassing, you know, place that could have a youth center and a spay facility, and you know, that would just be the answer to the area. When I wrote that, I mean, it just absolutely felt like a pipe dream. It felt like it was never going to happen, but it felt like I just sort of had to believe that it would anyway, or we had no chance of making a difference. And now here we are, years later, have land. Scott and Keith are actively working on one step after another. We have been, you know, fundraising and coordinating and planning and excavating, and holy shit, it's not really a pipe dream after all. It's just absolutely crazy. The guy was clearly nuts in the head for even thinking he could do it all. But if he could actually pull it off, he would have the first successful and sustainable model of an animal rescue in North Dakota focused on serving a nearby First Nation. A model that perhaps could be scaled and taken to similar areas in need. I'd stumbled onto a problem that I couldn't turn away from, and a person so motivated to fix it that I believed if anyone had a chance, he was the guy to do it. Keith had to be particular about who he brought onto his team, because so many of the animals rescued were on tribal land. The possibility of racial tensions was high if the wrong people were coming around with ill intent. Getting the local community involved and gaining their trust was a priority. Anyone that was going to be a part of the TMAR team needed to be exemplars and advocates for the community. There was no room for prejudice, discrimination, or intolerance. TMAR needed to prove to the community that every volunteer, no matter where they came from, was working for them, not against them. Sounds easy, but throwing different cultures together that don't know or understand each other well is bound to be fraught with misinterpretations. Oh, they're twins.
They kind of do
Oh,
look
they're
alike.
twinsies. Oh.
Boy and a girl.
So we got Maple and Spruce. So Maple's a female.
Mm-hmm.
Spruce is the male.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between them, Brenda? You've had a little time to get to know him. Anything?
He's the biggest of the four I have.
Okay.
He's the best eater.
Okay. So he's the
also
tank.
the loudest.
Is he?
Yeah.
How often do you get up around the clock to feed them?
Right now, 3 hours.
Every 3 hours through the night?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh, look at that.
That sounds traumatizing.
No.
Sounds like PTSD from raising 3 children.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Aww. Okay, here we go. At times, it all seemed so complicated. I thought we were just rescuing dogs, not solving world hunger. As it turns out, to really get to a long-term permanent solution, it was going to be a lot more complex than just rescuing dogs. I considered whether Keith's mission and approach was the right fit for me. I also considered if I was the right fit for Turtle Mountain Animal Rescue. There were Herculean tasks that needed to be tackled, and a real possibility that in the end, we might have to walk away defeated or die trying. I do like a good challenge, but the one that lay ahead was almost paralyzing. I didn't know about a world divided by invisible political and tribal borders. I didn't know the local ethos and traditions held dear that I might accidentally insult. I was a white girl, an outsider. I wanted to help, but I would have to prove myself competent enough to build bridges and not tear them down. Wow, that paragraph's loaded, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It's pretty loaded. I don't know if I want to entirely go there with a whole lot of discussion. That sounds fraught with disaster. But I like my puppy.
Okay.
I like my puppy.
You don't have to switch.
But yeah, we can switch puppies. Okay, here. Oh my goodness. Okay, I get the tank. There you go. Oh, I love the tank. You're so sweet. Oh, do you smell my breath? No, I smell your breath. That's what that is. That good thing. That's not my breath. You're so sweet. You're so sweet. We got the tank of the group. This one is Cedar, the biggest male. Spruce, the biggest male, I said. See, there you go. They need little name tags. Hello, my name is.
We haven't taught them that yet.
For anyone just tuning in, we're chilling in Fargo tonight with Brenda, one of our experienced bottle fosters. She's got 4 out of the 11 of our newest bottle babies. And she has graciously had me over to visit tonight. And we're reading from Rescue Matters, chapter 11, which is loaded with content. Admittedly, I knew nothing of the local history. But there was one thing I was sure of. That whatever I said or did, no matter if it was right or wrong, I cared about the welfare of the animals and the people. Whatever came out of me would only be intended to help, not harm. I sent Keith a message one night telling him that I was on board with everything in his vision and that I wouldn't quit. I promised to help and not give up if he didn't either. And so he responded back with something like this, quote, "Animal people who actually get involved and stick have a higher rate of crazy." And I responded with this, quote, "So you think I'm crazy? Assuming I'm average crazy, then what does that make you?" But let me back up for just a second. I gotta say, if I'm being honest, and that's what this is, right? When I wrote this, I told Keith I promised to help and not give up if he didn't either. Holy shit, there have been times when we wanted to give up. Everyone at some point or another, many times. And me personally, isn't that so awful to admit? So awful to think that you wake up and I'm done. I'm absolutely done. I'm done. It's just, it's heartbreaking. You have to deal with people and politics and money and lack of money and vet bills and suffering and all the stuff that goes into rescue. So cheers to all the rescuers out there. It takes a freaking village, and it does really actually take some crazy, crazy people to stick with it. So on nights when like we do a late live video and we're not on time, we're all sort of just trying to live our lives with our spouses and our kids and our jobs and all the things that we do, and fit all of this into the mix somehow. And it's just really trying at times. I honestly can say it's just insane how we are still here. It's really cool that we are. I needed to figure out where my skills were best suited to help him. I lived 4 hours away with a husband, kids, dog, and work. I wouldn't be able to make the round trip with a frequency that would make an impact, but somehow I would have to help from home. My first task was to get the Amazon wish list updated. He needed supplies. His love-hate relationship with puppies was apparent from day one. Did you hear that? I'll just read that to you again. That deserves a second. And we're talking about Keith. Love you, bud. His love-hate relationship with puppies was apparent from day one by the amount of bleach, puppy pads, and paper towels that he requested. Of course, that's the only reason why he has a love-hate relationship with puppies, is because, well, how often do you get up during the night? Every 3 hours. Yes, of course. Now multiply that times dozens of puppies every single month, and you would feel the same way. Most people would burn out. I was happy to help with the updates, but I knew that adding supplies to a list was not where I could be best utilized. I needed to do something that made more of a difference. I just didn't know what that was. But apparently, Keith did. Quote, "You can write our stories," Keith said. Yes, I forgot. I'm a writer. I can write our stories. I'm not kidding. That's how it went. I mean, I was so oblivious to what I could do. I imagined that rescue work was picking up poop and walking dogs and cleaning kennels and helping out with paperwork and filing stuff away and drama between staff. I don't know. I just had this vision of what it was. And I didn't know how I could help. I didn't put two and two together and think, I think I'm going to put my actual skills to use and try to help here. I was just thinking about how am I going to get up there every single month, multiple times? How am I going to fit this into my life? And it sounds so stupid. I mean, you'd think I would be smarter than that, but apparently I wasn't. But it did take him saying, "You can write our stories," for it to really click with me that probably was a good idea. Thank you. Sorry, sweetie. I'm sorry. I know. I'm paying attention to two things. You're so sweet. Who do you got there now? This one is, I keep forgetting.
Pig.
Yeah. This is the littlest girl.
Yeah.
She's so sweet.
Piggy. Little Piggy pudding.
Can I have little Piggy pudding?
Sure.
I want to trade you?
Sure. She'll just lay right there.
Yes.
She was not too fast.
Charlie,
Here you go.
Yep, I got her. Little Figgy pudding.
Hey, Susie.
Figgy pudding. Little Figgy pudding. That's so sweet. So I had little Figgy pudding tonight, and I was helping to bottle feed her, which I have nursed and bottle fed human children, but just do not have skills for the fur children. But she was really sweet. Such a little snuggler.
She weighs 2 pounds.
She weighs 2 pounds. She's the littlest of the group, right?
No, actually Maple's a little bit smaller.
Okay. But she was just so sweet. I felt like she wasn't eating because she just wanted to snuggle. That's how sweet she was. And even when I tried to wake her up, she just wanted to snuggle. There you go. There you go. Okay. Yes, I forgot. I'm a writer. I can write our stories. A task that, for me now, seems obvious. But in my mind, at the time, I thought rescue work was fostering, transporting, cleaning, and raising money. Who writes and saves dogs? The possibility had never occurred to me. Shouldn't I be out there moving animals and finding them homes? I was writing other things completely unrelated to dog rescue at the time I met Keith. I'm gonna move my hair for you. I feel bad. There you go, sweetie. I didn't know if I was even capable